if I select those points again, and I deselect this row here, I can now just start to reduce the influence that this ulnar radii has on these vertices. So this row here would still likely be influenced 100%. So I don't need that. I can remove from my selection by pressing Control. I can just make sure that there's no point selected on the back side. And here I'm going to start to diminish the effect a little bit. I'm actually going to give some of the weight of these points, everything from here on up, to the forearm bone. So the forearm bone is over here, and because my weights are normalized, when I start to add to the left forearm bone, it subtracts from the left ulnar radii. It has to do that anyways, but if I was to add back, if I was to subtract from the left forearm bone, it just adds back to the left ulnar radii. So that's what's really nice about having your weights automatically normalized for you. I'm going to give the left forearm bone in this case maybe 10%. So we have a 90-10. So this is going to start to delay a little bit as I move the ulnar radii twist. And if I deselect this row of points, I could probably jump down a little bit more. Let's take another 15% off. So I could take this up to 25. So you have a 25-75 split. And at about this point, it starts to fall off pretty quickly. So with the left forearm bone selected, I'll go to maybe about 50%, or even let's go 60%. So we have 60, left ulnar radii has 40% influence, and we're going to fall off very quickly here. We'll take that forearm twist, and we'll go with an 80-20. Oops. Make sure I don't have any points selected on the back there. Now we can move to maybe a 90-10. And from here, I'll just really ramp it down. Let's go to 90. So select the deformer first. Let's go to 96% weight. Just Control deselect the points you don't want. I might actually have a little bit of a problem here because I didn't obviously select them when I was painting this row here. So let's take this to maybe 98. And let's make sure that 2% got put on the vertebra bone for whatever reason. So let me just subtract from that. So I have now 100% on my left forearm bone, and the left ulnar radii bone is right there. I'll just add 2% to it. There we go. I just made a miscue when I was clicking. So I'll close down this weight editor for now, and I'll see how my idea worked. Actually doesn't work too badly, except in this region here things seem to have gone awry pretty quickly. So my first guess wasn't that great, so I'll just go in and tag these points. I'll see what the influence is here. Just go back in, Control E. In this case now, because I have the weight distributed between two bones, it really doesn't make sense to look at all of these deformers in my weight editor. So this is where I'll take advantage of the Select 0 option and just refresh, so I'm looking at the two deformers that that are affecting these points right now. So I'll give the ulnar radii here, let's give it, say, 70%. And right here, just visually start to drag these values down until they start to look good. And this is the problem with just using two deformers to try and describe an arm twist. This is where it really starts to fall down. We need more than one pivot point to describe this motion here. So all we can do at this point is really just approximate it. Let's give this guy a little bit more. I really like this blending here where you can just kind of go in and adjust on the fly. Okay, I got those selected there. And let's, that's a bit extreme, I think. Let's give this guy a little bit more. Just so we get a nice flow. Still not really seeing it right here. I don't really like the way the edge flow is working. Let's make sure I don't have any of this row selected. Again, double checking your work's never a bad thing. And again, this vertebra seems to think it has something, and it doesn't. Don't like that. I'll just give this left ulna radii bone a little bit more. And at least I should get a much better arc here. I could even go into these individual points and start cleaning them up manually as well too. They might not have the exact same point weight as their neighbors do that follow their edge loop. Like that. And just holding down Shift to fine-tune these values here. There's a bit of a lag, but that's likely because of the Camtasia. This one here is weighted 100%. So very quickly I'm just going to do a local reassign. So we have the two bones immediately in our weight editor because they are filtered by the select 0 value turned off. Actually, it's the wrong bone as well. I want it to be this bone and this bone. And let's give that a little bit more. Let's do a quick reassign again. Alright, so I think that's probably as good as we can hope to do. For now, anyways. It looks a little bit strange at this angle here, but also remember that we can also be distributing this movement down the entire arm, and that's the goal of the more advanced rig. So this will get us through rough animation, but definitely it needs to be worked out a little bit more. But we do get a fair amount of control out of it, and if need be, you can do a little bit of rotation this way as well. You wouldn't want to use too much X rotation here, otherwise you're going to start to get funny anomalies in the elbow of the character. But using small 20 degree corrections in either direction will work with this character. It might increase the likelihood of a gimbal situation, but your animators are usually more than adept at getting out of those situations. So I think the forearm and the upper arm is done, and I can move on to the hand.